Hello, it's Andrine. I'm a Jewish American priestess, and today I'm bringing you some readings about the Mercury retrograde that we are currently in. It's going on for a week, and it's going to be going on for a couple more weeks, is my understanding. And Mercury is the planet of communication, so there may be some wonky communications going on. A lot of times technology is whack. I've certainly seen some of that going on. So I want to do a reading. I'm going to do pick a deck, kind of pick a card, but it's going to be a deck that we're going to pick that will give us some information about how we can communicate better, how we can use this time right now to improve our communications, both with the divine, with ourselves, and with each other. And the way we're going to do this today is we're going to do a pick a deck, and I've got a lot of oracles here. So I've got a bowl full of all slips of paper with all of my decks written on, and I couldn't decide what deck to use today, so we're going to choose 3 different decks, and we'll let you decide which deck you want. And then we will use both the Hebrunes and the Nordic runes as well to get some clarity about communications right now. Make sure that candle is stable. Okay, so let's start by just pulling out 3 slips of paper, and then we'll open them up and find out what, oh boy, they're really leaping out today. So there's 1 and 2, and let's see what the third one wants to be. Here, this one. Okay, I'm gonna set that off to the side. We'll open these up and see what decks we have, and then I'll go get them, and we'll come back and we'll do a card from each of those decks. First one we have is the Goddess Dream Oracle. That's deck number 1. Deck number 2 is the Portland Tarot. And deck number 3 is the Mythologia Fennica Tarot. Okay, so take a minute to decide which of these 3 decks you would like. And I'll put the timestamps down below, and then we'll come back and do a reading from each of these decks about communication and Mercury in retrograde. I'll put the timestamps below, and I'll see you in your separate readings. Hello, deck number 1. Those of you who chose the Goddess Dream Oracle. It's a beautiful deck. It's got the flowers and the butterflies on the back. And we're going to shuffle these up, and we're going to pull out a card that will lead us into our reading today. It looks like it really wants to be this one. Okay, so we're going to pull that one out. And let's turn it over and see what card we have today. Serenity. Be calm. Number 31 in this deck. We have a beautiful long-haired woman under the moon wearing a star around her neck, and she has 2 swans, one with looks like purple swirls and one with green leaves, and she's embracing them, and they each also have a star around their neck. Beautiful. You see a white feather floating up from above. So serenity, be calm. That's our first message. Is the way we're going to deal with our communication today is by starting out with serenity, calmness. And I'm going to take a little minute to see what's inside the booklet as well. When gliding through the water, the swan moves with grace, power, and beauty. Goddess Brigid speaks through her swan totem, bringing a message for you to pay attention to the balance in your life and make time to be calm. Beneath the water, the swan's feet paddle and push, sometimes resting or moving slowly against gentle waters, at other times working hard against powerful currents. All the while, she conducts herself with calm and deliberate actions. If the water is turbulent and splashes over her, it runs off her body with gentle ease. She is unconcerned. She navigates herself through the water with expert intuition, sensing what is around her from moment to moment. The affirmation for this card is, I take time for myself. I am calm and relaxed. Lovely. Serenity. So this is a way we're going to deal with the chaos of the Mercury retrograde and the frustration with communication. We're going to keep moving forward steadily, calmly, with serenity and grace. So let's pull out some Hebrunes and Nordic runes on the left and Hebrunes on the right. So we'll start at the top with the position of what is a situation right now. And for this we have Nauthies. In the center are fear or challenge. And we have Soilo. And at the bottom, what is our advice or our outcome? And we have Fehu. Let's pull out some Hebrunes as well, and then we'll read them, and I'll tell you what they say. Top is going to be what is our current situation. We have Gimel. In the center, our fear or challenge. We have Pei. And at the bottom, advice or outcome. Tzadi. Beautiful. Okay. So starting on the left side with our Nordic runes, our current situation is Nauthies. Nauthies is the rune of need. It's taking care of yourself, taking care of what needs to be done for you. So it's exactly this message, to really listen into your own personal needs and find out what needs to be done. This one, you can't tell particularly whether it's reversed or not, so I'll read it both ways. Upright, it's take care of your needs, make sure that everything that needs to get done is getting done. And reverse, it's drop everything and tend to your needs. And I'm guessing in this chaotic situation we're in with the Mercury retrograde and all of the things swirling around us, that it may mean both things. Take care of what needs to be done on a daily basis, brush your teeth, drink your water, but also in a chaotic situation you have to drop everything that's going on and really take care of yourself. First and foremost is the most important thing, and that's where we are right now in our situation of this Mercury retrograde. On the right side, we have the Hebrune of Gimel, and Gimel is about moving forward, and like the swans here, it actually looks a little bit like a swan almost, with its feet paddling under the water. It's moving forward gracefully, but steadily, and not pausing or hesitating. Gimel is a foot or a camel walking forward. It's about movement, making sure we're continuing to move forward, paddling our little feet under the surface, even if it's chaotic, and looking calm above. We're walking forward towards something toward justice particularly. Gimel is the letter that rules over the planet of Jupiter in the sky. And in Hebrew, the name for the planet Jupiter is Tzedek, which means justice. So we're moving forward toward justice. We are paying attention to the binary transformation affiliated with this letter, which is peace and evil, or wholeness and wickedness. Peace is shalom, so shalom really means that which is whole. So we're trying to find wholeness in the situation, paddling away from wickedness. Gimel is affiliated with the Garden of Eden. It begins, the letter is Gan, garden. So finding peace in that garden and finding our way away from that which is not serving us, that which is wicked or really broken, not whole. And moving toward that justice, moving forward toward justice. So I think those are, taking care of our needs, but also moving, continuing to move forward. That may be part of the need that's taken care of, is rest, serenity, but calm movement forward. Our fear or challenge in the Nordic rune side is Soilo. And Soilo is the rune of the sun. It's source energy, power. And in a difficult position of a fear or a challenge, it's about overwhelm. It's about being afraid of not having enough energy, not being able to move forward anymore because the sun is too bright, it's too hot, and also we're not really connected to source. So it's mostly about a fear. The fear of not feeling connected, the fear of being overwhelmed by what's happening. And that is a valid fear. The sun here in the northern hemisphere right now is very high and very hot. So we may be joyful to be out in the sun, but also we have to be mindful of sunstroke. We have to remain calm, not running ahead, not overwhelming ourselves in the sunshine, making sure we take breaks. Again, stay hydrated, take care of our needs. And on the Hebrew side, we have the letter Pe. And Pe is the letter that represents the mouth of the divine. So it's really all about communication. So our fear or challenge on the Hebrew side is about communication right now. Mercury retrograde, not being able to speak accurately, not being able to hear appropriately what's being said, mixed communications, messed up communications. It's the mouth of the divine speaking creation into existence. So being aware that when we speak, we have to use beautiful words. We have to bless what we'd like to see in the world rather than cursing what we don't want to see in the world. So using our words toward creation of something pleasant. So instead of saying, oh, I hate this, I don't like it, I don't want it to be like this, saying, what I would love is to see this thing in a different way, maybe to move forward into a better place, to be able to hear. And so since this is about speech in the fear or challenge part, I'm going to guess it's about holding our tongue and listening more rather than speaking. It's also the spiral of time. You can see it looks a little bit like a spiral. Pa'am means time in Hebrew. So we may be afraid that we're running out of time, that we don't have enough time, that the time is passing too quickly, and that we're not, we're being wound up into a labyrinth of miscommunications. So, it's a valid fear again. But let's use our words in a way that is productive, and also hold our tongues when we need to. If communications are strained or difficult, maybe it's best not to speak right now and just listen. So that's our fear or challenge on the Hebrew side. On the Nordic rune side, where we have our outcome, we have the letter Fehu. Fehu is that letter which means wealth or worth. It's in the Elder's Futhark, it is cattle. So it's the wealth that you tend, it's the wealth that you can take with you. So it's not about money exactly, but it's about cows. It's about taking care of your herd, making sure that they get the water they need, they get taken to pasture on time, that they are milked when they are full of milk. So we need to tend what we need to tend. We need to tend our wealth in order to have it remain our wealth. If we don't take care of those needs with the Nauthis up above, if we don't take care of our own relationships and that which we find valuable in our life, they won't remain valuable to us very much. So our advice and the outcome here is to find a way to tend to that which is valuable to you, whether it be relationships, whether it be your job, it could be something very practical, but your body particularly, and find your own worth and value in this. Find your inner worth. It's not reversed, but we can read it that way. It's kind of implied that our inner worth is up right now, that we need to tend and believe that we are worthy of this peace and this calm and this serenity. And over on the Hebrew side, we have the letter Tzadi. So that's really interesting, considering that above we have Gimel, which is the letter that rules over the planet Tzedek. Tzadi is the first letter of the word Tzedek. So it's about justice. It's about finding righteousness in the world. It's about being righteous. It's about doing the right thing, finding your way into a place of justice that is going to help you become a tzaddik, that you'll become a righteous person, a sage perhaps, that we are taking care of the injustice in the world and the challenges that we're facing. It's the number 90 in Gematria, so it has this connotation of the 9, which is like the number of months of gestation in the body, times 10. So we have this ultimate manifestation of a gestation happening. The number 9 letter is Tet, which represents Tov, meaning good. So we're having a big gestation of something good that's coming forward. And the way to gestate is to remain serene and calm. Tzadi is also the letter that's affiliated with the month of Shvat. Shvat is the month where we have the birthday of the trees, and it looks a little bit like a tree. And it's also the tribe of Asher in the month of Shvat. So I think of it as the letter that represents the Asherah, the tree, the goddess who dwells within the trees. Right now my trees are producing fruit and full of life, and they are just completely verdant and abundant. So a great gestation, a great birthing is happening. It's like the Empress has come into our yard with all of the fruit that's being produced out there right now. It's not quite ripe yet. We're still waiting. But there is this ultimate manifestation of good gestation happening. And we need to honor the trees and really take care of them right now. Find the justice, the earth justice that we're needing to tend. And that brings us back over to Fehu, this idea of tending that which is valuable. Could mean tending the trees, could mean tending the plants, tending our relationship with the divine. Beautiful reading. So for those of you who chose card number 1, Serenity, this idea of being calm right now, tending to your own needs, stepping forward, moving forward, paddling forward like the swans with grace. When we feel overwhelmed and we're having difficulty with communication, maybe sit inside with the source of your own power. Listen rather than speak. And find the wealth and worth and tend it. Take care of those needs. Take care of your cattle so that they will be there when the summer ends. And step forward toward justice, taking care of the trees and the fruit, and being calm and serene within your own garden. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, you can like and subscribe, and I'll look forward to seeing you here next time. Happy Mercury retrograde. Hello, deck number 2, those of you who chose the Portland Tarot. This is a deck that was made by an artist here in Portland, and she has done the major arcana from the normal tarot, and that's all that's in this deck is major arcana. And there's actually a couple of extra cards that have to do with the bridges and so on. So I've left those in. They have a different back, so I'm going to close my eyes while I shuffle and pick a card, and we'll see what comes out today for our reading about Mercury retrograde, for our reading about what communications you can work on. So let's give it a shuffle. I'm closing my eyes. You can see, but I can't, and we'll see which card wants to come out today, and then we'll read about that. I am not looking. You're going to have to trust me on that. I can't see a thing. I hope it's going okay. And let's see which card wants to come out today. I'm going to go with this one here. Okay. All right, let's turn the card and see what we have. I'm going to turn it upright. This is the card, the Devil. And you can see here the typical devil figure. He's got the horns and so on. You can see some of the other cards underneath the table with him, and a labyrinth, as well as a nurse, a couple of animals, and some windows. I'm going to read in the booklet and see what she says about the devil in this particular deck. The devil is card number 15, and it's usually about being tied up, having some kind of addiction or something that you're struggling with that is dragging you down. But traditionally, it's also that you might already be free, and you don't even notice it because you're too wrapped up in the chains that have got you bound. So what she says is, The devil, greater than all threats of sin, are the dark demons that lurk within. The affirmation is, I transmute my shadow by speaking and living my passions freely. The devil restricts us, or rather he convinces us that he does so, but the devil's bonds are usually of our own forging. His is the power we give away. Call it addiction, conformity, or codependence. This card often comes to remind us of unhealthy attachments to food, sex, love, habitual behaviors. It can signify the abusive relationships we cling to, the golden handcuffs of our corporate jobs, or the physical addictions that compromise our health. In a reading, the devil can alert us to our bondage, and while it's no easy matter to disengage, if a habit is dampening the voice of your soul, you might ask, what am I willing to risk to be free? Okay, so the devil. Our communications are tied up in this. What is it we are hearing from other people? There looks like a little bird holding a key down here. We have the ability, if we listen to the little bird's voice, to free ourselves from these difficult perceived addictions and or, it says at the top, no exit. But there's a keyhole in that, and the bird has the key. And the monkey here, I guess, is representing the monkey on your back. So our first message is be aware of what is holding us and binding us. What messages are we receiving that are helping us to free ourselves from the bondage that we perceive? You know, again, Mercury retrograde is, a lot of people get all worked up about it, but it's a way that communicates to us what is working and what isn't working. So if you find yourself in a toxic relationship or with a person or a substance or a behavior, this is good information that you need in order to break free. So we're going to pull out some Nordic runes as well as some Hebrunes today. I'm going to do 3 on either side. Nordic runes on the left, Hebrunes on the right. The first position on the top is what is our current situation right now. And on the top with the Nordic runes we have the letter Perthro. And it is reversed. I'm going to leave it reversed. In the center, which is our fear or challenge, we have the letter Manas reversed. And our outcome letter, our advice or our outcome on the Nordic rune side is Ivaz. For our Hebrunes side, at the top, our current situation, we have the letter Mem. In the center, a fear or challenge, we have the letter Bet. And our outcome letter, advice or outcome, we have the Yud. Okay, so starting on the left, upper left, we have Perthro, which is the letter that represents a cup or a container. It's considered a game piece or a lot box. And the lot box is like the container that holds all the lots, right? What is in there is already in there. It's not like there are unknown things in there, but they're always in there. When you have Perthro show up reversed in a reading, what it indicates is that something has been revealed and it's really challenging. So this Mercury retrograde communication issue may have revealed an unpleasant, unhealthy relationship or with somebody or something that was always there, that you were possibly aware of, you didn't want to admit it, but it's becoming revealed and it's a challenge. The revelation of what's inside the box, and has always been inside the box, is difficult because it's got us bound up in some way. We are strapped up in the straitjacket under a table, and we need to figure out how we're going to deal with this revelation of a difficult thing that's always been in there. So that's where we are right now with the Nordic runes. On the Hebrew side, we have the letter Mem, which is also a container. It's a womb space. It's a gestation. So it's the mother letter of water, and so it has to do with flow and, again, amniotic fluid and gestation. It's the creation element of water, and it's the cleansing element of water. So it's a container that holds the water, and it's the creation letter that brings the water into the world. Mem is the number 40 in Gematria, so to that end it has to do with the 40 weeks of gestation in the human body when we are pregnant. And it's a waiting period. It's a time of waiting. It's the 40 years in the wilderness, the 40 days of rain in the Noah story. So there's some kind of waiting that's happened. And since it is a container like Perthro, I'm going to say we have this container. Something's in it. Something's going to be born. And it might be difficult. Pregnancy often is. It's difficult to be pregnant. It's difficult to give birth. So it sounds like it's a real big challenge right now to be sort of bound up in whatever it is that's holding us. This revelation that we've discovered, the thing that's in the box, the thing that's in the womb, that is needing to be birthed. It's needing to be, we need to release what we're gestating and cut that cord, cut the umbilical cord to it so that it can have its own life and that we can be free. It's important to do the gestation, but it's also important to cut that cord once the birth has happened. So something's happening that is creating gestation. And again, Mem is affiliated with mikvah, cleansing through water. So there may be some kind of water cleansing that would be useful right now. Or, since we are in the hot heat of the summer, at least where I am, there may be some hydration that needs to happen. We need to stay hydrated, keep things moist so that they don't dry out, so that birth can happen, because that will make things worse if we don't stay in the flow. It's, again, a long wait, and it's difficult. But that's where we are right now. We're in this gestation period where we're discovering the thing that's difficult. And we need to know that when the birth happens, that cord needs to be clipped. The fear or the challenge in our situation, on the left side we have manas, and it's reversed. Usually it looks like this, and it represents our place in humanity. It's the rune of humanity. It's the letter vunyo, which is joy, twice facing each other. So facing each other with joy, but we've got it reversed in the fear or challenge position. So it sounds like it's a difficulty with dealing with people. Difficulty finding facing another person with joy. Maybe it's one person, maybe it's just being overwhelmed with too many people, the din of humanity in itself. We're having a difficult time finding where we fit right now. And that makes sense with addiction, with the revelation of something difficult coming in, that we are having a difficult time finding where we fit into this situation, into the bigger picture of the planet, of the people in our community, of the people in our family even. So that's our fear or challenge right now, is where do we fit in and how do we face each other with joy when this revelation has come to light. Over on the right side we have the letter Beit. Beit is the letter that means home. It's house. It's a house, a floor plan of a house. It's the first letter of Torah, Bereshit, in the beginning. So our fear or challenge is having to do with home. It's having to do with finding our place in our home. It's having to find our place in the planet. Beit is, again, representative of home, but it's where we dwell. And we dwell in our house, we dwell in our bodies, we dwell on this earth. And so maybe right now we're having a difficult time finding where we dwell or feeling at home where we are. Beit is also, again, because it's the first letter of Torah, it could be we're having trouble getting started. Having a hard time getting started on the cleaning up of this mess of the communication piece. Beit is the mouth in the body. In the Sefer Yetzirah, it represents the mouth in the body. So speaking may be difficult. We may need to, in light of our challenges with humanity, not speak right now. Remain quiet, listen rather than speak. until we figure out how to disentangle ourselves from whatever is holding us down. And our advice or our outcome, we have Iwas on the Nordic rune side, and this is the rune of the yew tree. And it's about slow growth, slow development, taking things step by step, and transversing worlds. So this is going to take a while, it sounds like. We need to have patience. This is the patience rune. It's also about going into the heavens and into the underworld. So the devil is, historically about being under the world, being in hell, in the dark place under the ground. So we might have to go into the depths in order to climb out. Sometimes we have to hit rock bottom with an addiction before we can see that we're having a problem at all, before that revelation comes to light. So it's going to take a while. It's going to take some time, and we need to do that step by step. When I say step by step, I'm thinking about 12-step programs for addiction. Not that that's necessarily the way that you need to go, but this idea of doing things step by step, one thing at a time, in order to free ourselves from whatever it is that's binding us right now. This is also hearkening back to that mem with the gestation period being a long time. So patience is going to be required in order to work through whatever it is we're trying to untangle with this communication issue, with this Mercury retrograde, with our entanglement with the devil. And on the right side, we have the letter Yud. Our advice or our outcome is to begin. Yud is the smallest of all the letters. When we put our pen down on the parchment, we make a Yud every time. So it's the smallest of all the letters. It's the seed of every letter. It's the seed that holds everything within it. So there's a beginning that's needing to happen. We need to take a minute to plant a seed, to start somewhere. Yud is also the first letter of the divine name, the Yud He Vav He, which is a contraction of the verb to be in the past, present, and future. It's unpronounceable, but it holds all of becoming within it. So our advice here is to become, to plant a seed and begin the business of becoming again, to disentangle ourselves from whatever it is that we believe that we are stuck in, to become more of ourselves, to be free to be who we are and not let somebody else define us, and to just, again, start that process. And again, with the difficulty we're having with the bait being Bereshit in the beginning, we may be having a challenge with that. But the gestation will take a while, and we need to remember that. We've discovered something within the lot box. We're having a challenge with our place in humanity, and it's going to take a while, but we need to start that process of going deep in order to come up, where the gestation is in process already. The container has been built, and we need to know that's going to take a minute. Also, that cord will need to be cut once the birth happens, but the beginning needs to happen, even if it's a challenge, even if we're having a hard time taking care of ourselves, take care of our body, taking care of the planet on which we dwell. We need to plant that seed. That's the important thing. And start again, start the becoming, start the process. So for those of you who chose deck number 2, the Portland Tarot, and the devil has arrived, this has been your reading for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it's been helpful and that you'll find your way through whatever it is you're discovering right now in your life, and that it's productive, and that you will become more of who you are and need to be in this moment. If you like this, you can like and subscribe below, and I'll look forward to seeing you here next time. Hello, deck number 3. This is the Mythologia Fennica Tarot. And this is a deck that is based on the mythology of Finland, the Kalevala. It's a very interesting deck. The stories are very unusual. They're not like Torah stories, although they have some similarities, of course. They're not like the Norse mythology. The Finnish stuff is its own business. And I find this really interesting because I've been studying recently with a woman named Nini with Witches North, learning more about my Finnish heritage and the stories within the Kalevala and how they play out. So I love that this deck came out today. We're coming up on the birthday of the bear in the calendar. So let's pull out one card today and find out what it is that we're learning about our issues with Mercury retrograde communications and how we can move forward in this challenging time of communications. Let's see which card wants to come out. This one? Okay, let's turn the card and see what's come out today. We have Kakiainen. Wow, these are great little guys. They are saying Rahahahaha. And it's the number 7, I believe, of air. Let's see, that would be the 7 of Swords. Let's read in the book about it. Kakiainen. 7 of Swords. The keywords are criticism, conflicts, problems that have built up, lack of direct communication, overblown response toward minor inconveniences, creation of problems, feeding of negative thoughts, negative expectations, disturbance, belittlement of oneself, and defense. Perfect for Mercury retrograde. I had no idea. Kakiainens were tiny, obscure creatures, kind of a minuscule ghost. They weren't really dangerous, but they could cause all sorts of trouble and inconveniences. They usually lingered around churchyards and funeral processions. If a horse that was pulling the coffin halted next to a graveyard, the Kakiainens would climb on the sleigh, and it would become too heavy for the horse to pull. Kakiainens were like tiny poltergeists that delighted in causing difficulties and disturbances. Uncertainty made them go wild, and they also attracted more of their kind. The best way to get rid of a Kakiainen was to be direct and frank. Folklore also advises that it was important to check one's house for Kakiainens after the visitors had left, especially if there had been some quarrel with the guests. Fascinating. Making a big deal out of every problem and hanging on to small conflicts is to make a perfect environment for Kakiainens to run amok. When Kakiainens are around, even adults may be prone to fits more befitting a toddler if they don't get their way. Kakiainen's message is that it is wise to take constructive attitudes toward minor setbacks and conflicts that you've faced. Don't overdramatize or be overly sensitive. It isn't healthy to harbor bitter thoughts, guilt, or old grudges. It's better to just come out and say what is troubling you in a civilized manner. Kakiainen has its own counterpart, Katikainen or Hapsikatiainen, a creature that cuts yarns and hairs. The energy that travels between persons forms a kind of link that binds them together, or an energetic level. It's possible to sever those ties, and sometimes one simply must get completely rid of harmful relationships. Usually, it's nevertheless enough when conflicts and hidden feelings are brought out into the open and openly discussed. The card signifies that it's time to find out what it's like to live without the expectations set by others. Find your own freedom. Don't let the opinions of others bring you down, but believe in yourself despite what they might think. It will weaken you if you do not believe in yourself. Only you are able to interpret the successes and failures of your own life. Take care that you only associate with people who support your spiritual growth, and rid yourself of all pestering Kakiainens. Amazing. Well, that's lovely. I am very impressed. This is not a spirit that I was particularly familiar with, but I love them. They're hilarious. And, you know, this is a real, very real thing, that there are people and situations that get stirred up by unpleasantness. So let's do a reading more about how to get rid of these little guys who are causing ruckus within our communications right now during this Mercury retrograde. They seem to be like the poster children of Mercury retrograde. So we're going to pull out 3 Nordic runes on the left side and 3 Hebrunes on the right side. The top position is that of what is our current situation right now. And we have the letter Laguz. And it was reversed, so we're going to put it upside down. In the center, our fear or our challenge. We have the letter Tiwaz, also reversed. I'm going to set that in the middle. And at the bottom, we're going to have the letter that is our outcome or advice for the situation. And we have the letter Ingwaz. And we'll put that at the bottom. On the Hebrew side, at the top, our current situation is the letter Tav. In the center, our fear or challenge is Aleph. And at the very bottom, our outcome or advice is the letter Resh. Okay, starting on the upper left, the letter Laguz, where we are right now. Laguz is the letter that it looks like this usually. It's the letter of the lake. It's water. Water flow, how things are moving along in an emotional way, and it's reversed right now. So our Laguz reversed at the top of our reading is saying to me that we're having trouble emotionally, that things have come to a halt, things are not flowing well. Maybe communications are not flowing well, relationships are not flowing well, something has been dammed up. And, or, we're having a lot of inner emotional turmoil that we're having challenges with because this is reversed in the where are we right now position. So inner emotions and blockages of flow are what's up right now in our situation, which makes sense for the Mercury retrograde. On the right side, we have the Hebrew of Tav. Tav is the final letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So it is a stamp or a seal, the conclusion of a thing. So we're having difficulty because something is coming to an end, or something is seeming like it's coming to an end. There's been a signature on the situation. Something has been spoken as truth. And I say that because Tav is the final letter, and the first center and final letter of the alphabet spells emet, meaning truth. So when you have Tav, it's like a stamp or a seal, like this is true, this is the end, this is the final product, this is what we know, and judgment that is affiliated with this. The idea of judgment because it is affiliated with the end and death. So there's some kind of ending that's come, there's judgment that's happened, that we've got this finality of this idea of truth that has been proclaimed or stamped or sealed. This is also about the binary transformation of sovereignty and slavery. Because it's in this position and we're talking about Mercury retrograde, we need to claim our own sovereignty right now rather than become enslaved by what we are hearing or believing from these Kakyayan, and they seem to be stirring things up. And we have to not necessarily believe the truth that they are proclaiming and their judgment on the situation, but find our own judgment and find our own sovereignty in the situation. So that's where we are right now, this idea of completion and this idea of stagnation with the flow of things and inner emotions. The fear or the challenge in our situation, on the left side we have Tiwaz reversed. Tiwaz is Tyr's rune. It usually looks like this. Tyr is the warrior god. And it's not always about war, but it's about taking care of duties and responsibilities. This is cast downward, so it sounds like we have been disarmed. We do not have the skills we need to stand up for ourselves and to do what is right, to not do the duty, to not fight the good fight, that we're overwhelmed by these little guys, and that we don't feel up to the challenge right now. the tear is upside down, and that arrow has been thrown to the ground, that we are disarmed again in the situation of too much negative talk, too much negative feedback or judgment that's coming at us. Our difficulty on the Hebrew side is the letter Aleph. Aleph is the number 1. It's the first letter of the Aleph Bet. It's the mother letter of air and breath. Since it's in the challenge spot, I'm going to read this as we're having difficulty breathing right now. We're having difficulty drawing in breath and taking a moment to breathe. There's been too much. These little kakinainen are jabbering and jabbering and jabbering, and we cannot even feel ourselves breathe. We're having difficulty with balance and oneness, not feeling at one with the divine or with ourselves or with our people, that this connection and division between above and below has been broken because of the jabbering going on by these little monsters in our situation. Again, just difficulty breathing and finding a place of rest in the breath. Aleph is the letter that really belongs to the oneness of the divine. And it being in this challenge spot makes me think we're having real difficulty connecting with the divine. Most of the names of the divine in Torah begin with Aleph. We have El Elyon, Adonai, and Adam, Adamah, the mud, the earth, the human. So we're having difficulty grounding ourselves, taking a breath, really breathing and finding the balance of above and below. And that makes sense because we've got these little guys yapping at us the whole time, and we've been disarmed by that constant influx of opinions coming at us. And the more they swirl around, the more difficult it becomes. Our advice or our outcome on the Nordic rune side is Ingwaz. Ingwaz is Ing's rune. Ing is the fertility god. So it's about planting a seed. This is said to be, using what we have to make what we can. We're being encouraged to plant a seed. We're being encouraged to do something, to actively get away from this situation, to maybe speak up with clarity and truth, to find growth in the situation, to really plant something that is substantial, is going to change our situation. Ing is about planting seeds. It's about growth. And right now in the world, we have, in the northern hemisphere at any rate, abundant growth happening. Everywhere, everything is fruiting and flowering. So we can grab onto that, really reach out and feel the abundance that's being given to us by Ing, by the fertility god, the god Frey, or the goddess Freya, who has blessed us with abundance, and really lean into that abundance and let these little guys go. Don't listen to their little jabbering, so that we can really focus on the abundance that we have and use, again, what we have to create what we can. It may not start out as something big. It may start out as just a small seed. But we can use it to plant, and then growth will happen. And over on the Hebrew side, we have the letter Resh, which is also wonderful because it's the head. It's a new beginning. It is the binary transformation of seed and barrenness. We don't always know when we plant a seed how it's going to turn out. But Resh is saying we need to plant that seed. Resh is also the word that means Rosh, meaning a head, a new beginning, Bereshit, in the beginning, the first word of Torah. So we have to start. We have to start somewhere. We have to use our head, use our intellect, and begin again. We may have the concern that there might be something wicked. Rocha begins with Resh, and it can represent wickedness, those little guys. But here's the wonderful thing. Resh is the letter that rules over the planet Mercury in the sky. So communicate. That's what it's saying. Start communicating right away. Begin. Do something. Plant that seed. Listen with our right ear. This is the letter that's affiliated with the right ear in the body. Begin to speak the truth. Begin to be humble. This is a bowed head. It's got humility right on it. It's the first letter of the word Rosh, meaning somebody who's like poor or impoverished. So have humility when we speak, but do begin. Plant the seed. Know that barrenness is a potential, wickedness is a potential, but we have to start somewhere. We have to start by listening, by speaking truth. And when we do, we'll find our way through this difficult time with these kakiainen, so that we don't have these little bugaboos bothering us anymore. So we've started out with a place of being stuck, not having a flow forward, having a lot of inner emotional turmoil. It seems like something's come to an end, that something true has been stamped onto us, that we are disarmed, that we're having difficulty catching our breath because these guys just keep yapping at us. But plant our seed. Know that a new beginning is on the way, that Mercury will eventually go direct, and that will happen soon enough. In the meanwhile, speak your truth, step forward into the next thing. Know that every ending has a new beginning, and we've got endings, beginnings, and beginnings again. So never fear. Things will always continue to transform as we move forward. I hope that those of you who chose card number 3, deck number 3, with the 7 of Swords, Kakiainen, in the Mythologia Fennica deck, that you've enjoyed this reading, enjoyed learning about these little dudes. And if you did, you can like and subscribe below, and I'll look forward to seeing you here next time. Have a beautiful Mercury retrograde.